Hey everyone, today I'm going to be really real here. I'm going to try with a less edit and a more kind of natural way to actually speak on YouTube. I think there's been this wave of being more authentic and being more natural on YouTube. So this is going to be not scripted. But that said, when you see me looking down, I'm actually making sure that I go through all the notes that I have written down in terms of bullet point. And yeah, that's about it. In today's video, I'm really going to share about if you are 40s and you're camera shy, do this now. So in my previous video, I talk about why anyone should start a YouTube channel. And the first and foremost reason that why I started a YouTube channel, if you check out my previous video, was really I wanted to set a so-called place a legacy for my family. And this really kind of triggered me when my dad actually passed away about 6-7 months ago. And as we were going through his things, over the past few months when we were trying to clear his things, that we've actually found his written diary, his written notes in terms of his life back then when he started writing this at 40s. And it was a wonderful kind of written memory of my dad's thoughts, why he did certain things and how he actually found the Lord. And we really felt, or rather I really felt really blessed with it, that he actually left a legacy for me. And it was at age 40 that he actually started to write, and I could actually see, his past. He was also trying to recollect, all his past, that when he was young and how he had a chicken as a pet, and his mom actually cooked the pet and have it for lunch one day. So it was those kind of memories that that was shared, and as well as how people back then were actually buying food from the shop houses, and they were just kind of pulling up all the food in those kind of bowl in those days in Singapore. So it was quite intimate, the kind of things that was being written down, and how sometimes he actually ate, when the children disobey him, and when things goes wrong, and he went to the Lord. And it was really a very good so-called testimony to everyone who is living still in his family and still outside of Christ. So that is a really a living testimony of him that he has placed. And I think that was one of the greatest legacy that I will continue to want to have my kids to read it in proper. You see how his granddad was as a person, and how he has finished the faith really well. And that was a legacy to me, for me. And back then, I think at that point in time, all we had in terms of video was those kind of video recorders that we actually brought on holidays. And those were precious memories that we recorded our trips. And it wasn't that to actually, or rather it wasn't that common in this so-called generations to actually start recording a video and posting it publicly, whether is it for public or for your private family viewing. So I felt that was something that kind of triggered, I needed to do something like that for my kids, whether is it to share beautiful memories of our past trip, how mom has been using essential oils in the family, what are the oils that we use, and as well as things, of good use to, if they have kids one day, that they can actually kind of inculcate, the reading habits that I've put into place, and the books, the tools, the resources to bring them up in a Christian environment for their future generations. And also it was good for them in case I don't get the opportunity to meet their future kids or their future generations. That could be a high possibility. Then, then they can actually know me through a grandma, through YouTube, because YouTube is here to stay unless YouTube suddenly goes bankrupt and takes down all our videos. I think that it will be highly unlikely, but that could happen. But in any case, it is something that will continue, unless you actually take it down personally yourself. So that was one, to actually leave a legacy for my future generations. And second, really for self-development. I found myself really developing. The YouTube process is really like an entrepreneur. You record your video, you learn how to market, you learn how the technicals about it, and you learn really how to manage your time, right? And the third thing that really was also sharing, encouraging people to actually share your experiences and your wisdom. So at 40s, you can imagine that there is so much experiences, right, that we have went through life, and experiences that we can share with people out there. I always go to YouTube to learn about anything, and even sewing, different styles of painting, or even how to record a video, how to insert my Rode mic. Those are basic tutorials, and they're free. So really imparting your wisdom. I see many YouTubers at the age of 40 and 50s, they have really been stepping up in terms of sharing all their wisdom. Like, for example, some of them love fishing, and it's all these simple so-called knowledge, that people are out there also listening and finding out questions that you have, they also have, right? And you have also older people, more than 40s, 50s, 60s, that are going out recording videos, how they spend their time retirement, how they have a different mindset from when they were young. So I think these are really great sharing and experiences that comes with age. And just look at the recent Olympics. I was just watching the Olympics tennis finals, and you have Djokovic, which is 37 years old. He was against Alcaraz, which is 21 years old. Both are extremely great players in terms of tennis techniques and skills, but maturity comes into play. When Djokovic plays, you could see the maturity level, the consistency that he has set apart himself from Alcaraz. And that was really, you could really see the difference in the maturity of the play. And even if he was losing, the set 0-40, he would just bounce back, with that fierceness and the ferocity in him. You could see, it comes with maturity. And even if the crowd, cheers Alcaraz, which is definitely a more popular player, right, as compared to Djokovic. Djokovic is always kind of being put down by the crowd somehow, but he's so resilient, and there's so much things to learn from a much older player. So they play very differently. So in terms of maturity, I think older people, 40s, 50s, you have so much or more to share. So don't stop you even if you are turning, 40. Think of the niche that you can share, or things of the small little things that you can share. Whether you are great at cooking, how to defrost a fish, how to sous vide a chicken. These are things that people are also looking at, questioning. And the last thing that I didn't talk in my previous video was retirement at 40. So at 40, you'll be thinking, what have you achieved in life? And the next 10, 20 years, you'll be looking for a slowing down of a retirement, whether is it a full retirement or a semi-retirement. These are things that you have to ask yourself, what would you be occupying yourself with, right? I mean, after all, we have reached almost the half or milestone of our life. The next 10, 20 years, what do we want to do? And definitely that's something that everybody should think of. It's not too late to think of at 40s, 50s, or 60s, or 70s. It's a hobby, put in a hobby, that you really enjoy it and you share it, as well as your experiences. And with retirement, I think this would really help you to keep yourself engaged with things that you feel fun to do with. For example, sewing, knitting, these are things that keeps you going, and you have a community out there to really keep you driving across. And at 40s, I mean, to be honest, even in Singapore, the real challenge of it is that you're going to lose out much, in terms of an interview, when people are interviewing you versus someone that is about 20 or 25 years old, right? Who has the drive or the energy, maybe not 20, maybe not a fair comparison, maybe about 30, 35, I mean, versus a person that's 40 and above. You will lose out, and retrenchment fear is really true, especially if you are in the private sector. You can get retrenched at any point in time, whether you are in banking, you're private, and at 40 getting retrenched could be quite startling, because you are in the midst of young kids. You probably have young kids, you probably have older parents to support. You are really stuck in the generational kind of sandwich phase, and that's what most of us are feeling right now. YouTube is a source of ability to kind of monetize your channel no matter what. And whether is it monetizing it in 3 months, 6 months, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, that will come eventually if you are consistent in posting your videos and you post something that is of value to people, right? So potentially that could come as a recurring income at retirement phase. That could be a possibility, right? Depending on how fast you take it through. So I think all we have to say is that there's potential monetization for YouTube, and that's something that you may think of planning, whether is it now or in the future, you would kind of generate the experiences and potentially the monetary benefits that could help you in your later years. So that could be something that it may be worthwhile investing in now for the future, right? And let's talk about being camera shy. So I think when I first started out, anyone would be camera shy unless you are a professional journalist or even journalists, they are specially trained to do it. So even for myself, even today, I may find it very uncomfortable just talking in front of a camera, in front of not in front of a person, right? Because we are all used to kind of talking in front of the person and not in front of a camera. And that is something that you have to start training now and not procrastinate in pressing record. So a lot of the things that we learned is not really relevant in school. We weren't taught how to market, how to do social media. We haven't taught really how to record, especially in the new generation of a good so-called potential career. You ask any young ones, potentially they may be looking out to be a YouTuber. So that is the so-called new generational kind of mindset as well. So not that whatever that we learned in school is not relevant, but the skill set could be entirely different, right? Nobody taught us to know how to start a real business in YouTube. Maybe now there are courses to it, there's degrees to it. I don't know, maybe in future, but not now. So I think physically there's already a kind of like a barrier. The reality is we were all not taught to do it. So we are all starting out from the same ground. You don't expect yourself to overnight to be able to turn and be popular like Mr. Beast and just be so natural in front of everyone, right? Like Ali Abdabel. I think if you look at even if you look at the famous YouTubers, look back at their older videos, everybody all started at the same footing. So don't have that kind of, what I'm saying is that don't have that kind of expectation, because when you expect yourself to do so well, then that gives you the additional pressure that you don't need. So everybody starts from the same ground and don't feel kind of insecure, right? Insecurity is real, especially how you look good on the camera, whether you're fat, whether you're thin, for example. I think just be yourself. There will be someone out there will kind of appreciate your tribe, right? And will be someone like you. So everybody has their own attractiveness and we are all made beautiful in the eyes of God. So alternatively, there are other channels or there are other options, for example, starting out with a faceless YouTube channel. And that could be an option for you to start up, if you are really, really very shy and you just want to try to learn the so-called the YouTube technique of uploading, editing the videos and posting it up. I think that's fine, because if you look back at my previous, you see that I have essential oil diffuser blend, and these essential oil diffuser blends were really kind of faceless because I just record what I wanted to say and without showing my face. And I think one thing was that because I was really afraid of standing in front of the camera, in front of talking with them, it just feels very, very, very odd. And the other thing is that, what if people recognize me? So people like my friends, my colleagues, what are you doing on YouTube? Are you crazy? Or even family members, right? So those were the kind of the insecurity that we didn't want people to know. So you can just start YouTube, learn the technical, start the YouTube on a so-called faceless channel, learn the techniques about it and try it out. And then once you get confident, just practice. Okay, sorry, my kid just came back from school and I lost my train of thoughts. So alternatively, if you are really shy or you're really afraid of starting a YouTube channel, you can try doing the faceless YouTube, which would be really useful for you to just kind of boost up your confidence. And there are many other courses out there, free courses on YouTube channel. You can follow Think Media. Think Media has really helped me in terms of starting a YouTube channel, how to record, what are the so-called devices that you can use to upgrade yourself and make a better video on it. And I think they are really great, and there are many out there that you can actually utilize. YouTube is free. Like what I said, knowledge is free as long as you go and find it, you go and seek and learn it. And don't be afraid of learning even at 40 and 50, because there are so many cases of older people and seniors, just making it so good on YouTube and monetizing your channel. So follow people who are of your tribe, learn how they have figured out, the YouTube business, and as well as how they started. I mean, the key thing is go back to how they have started their YouTube channel, and you can actually see the growth, right? So don't expect yourself and base it, across a channel that has already been so mature. We have 10, 20 years of experience, right? So challenge yourself and really try it. So the next thing that wanted to talk about is that what do you really need? The basic things do you really need to get yourself started on YouTube? And really, you just need a phone, iPhone, or an Android phone will do. You don't need the latest. You really don't need the latest. I have to repeat that, because I think it has been surveyed that many YouTube's people who are viewing actually watch through their mobile phone, and that's about 64% versus 12% who watch it on their desktop. And this is a source from Science Tech Today. So it doesn't matter if you can't film it in 4K video, you can film it in 1080p video, and that's fine. There's no issue about it, because it's not going to blow up. People are not going to watch it and blow up in on the TV just to watch the YouTube channel. So I mean, that's the reality. And the good thing is that everybody has a smartphone, right? And a phone that can record a pretty quality pictorial video. So don't stop yourself from starting. You just need a phone. So the next thing that you really need is a editing software. I started out from CapCut, and the way I started out was a bit unintentional, because I was on holiday and I just wanted to stitch up some of the family video, and I actually used the CapCut and CapCut software, and it was uploaded on my handphone, and I just started to learn how to edit a video on a mobile phone. I found it pretty easy, because they are quite intuitive, which means that you just add a video, you can add a song, you can add some pictures, some videos overriding it, and you just stitch it up. So that was as simple as it is. So use a simple software like CapCut. You can download on the desktop, and it's free. Yeah, the best part is free. Unless you're really ready to go deeper dive in it, then you can consider using a pro version, but you really don't need a pro version. And even with the pro version, I think it's not going to cost you a lot. It's about, I think, 10 to 15 US dollars per month. But right now, I am actually using davinci. From CapCut, I started using davinci, and that was a huge learning curve. I have to say, huge learning curve. So if you're really new to video editing, don't get yourself started on davinci. So but after editing videos for about a year, I realized that all video editing, simple video editing functionalities are really basic or common across most video editors. You have a video timeline, you have the ability to put in extra music and extra videos on top of your existing videos, and those extra videos that you have are called B-rolls. You can add in you can stitch up the videos, you can add in a video transition to make the video transit easier. So these are things that you will naturally be able to pick up. Otherwise, just hop on to YouTube. There is many so-called YouTubers using or teaching tutorials for CapCut, for davinci, right? So I always suggest start with a easier so-called software, and CapCut is really a good place to start out. And the next thing that you really need is a computer, right? So I started using a normal computer, which is a Office OS system, but I found that it was just so laggy, and my video editing software will keep hanging, even though it was such a simple video. Maybe it's the speed that was slow, and I migrated myself. I'm never an Apple fan, but I migrated myself to Apple Pro, and that really kind of solved the lagginess because it was just so fast, right? But I didn't get a new one. I just got myself a second-hand one, so it's pretty affordable for a second-hand fast computer, and that was so worth it because that's really saved you a lot of pain and a lot of time to actually wait and then restart your whole editing process. So I think in the long run, an Apple computer will really make sense. And the other thing that you really need is a tripod. I think a tripod could cost you $40 to $50. A simple tripod would do. Later on, I'll just show you my simple setup, and as well a place to film. You can film any part in your house as long as there's not too much distractions. I guess so. And in Singapore, we're not so fortunate to have a studio setup. We live in smaller spaces, and therefore, you just have to find the one with the right lighting or just anywhere to film, right? So I love filming around here because it has a nice painting and picture. I thought that it really pops up in the video, and I really enjoyed it. And the last thing, if you really have extra to invest in, really invest in a good mic. So I started using my Rode Wireless Pro mic more frequently than ever because audio in the video really makes a big difference. So I started using that, but sometimes I actually just use a normal Rode microphone, but I didn't think that it worked as well as compared to one that is closer to your mouth. And I didn't want to invest in a kind of a boom over it because of small spaces. So this Rode microphone really worked well for me in small spaces. So that was kind of a good investment, at least from my angle. So I really hope that are encouraged at this point to start recording, even if you are 40s and above. I think it's really a good time to invest yourself, to start something different since we are kind of in a halfway timeline. I'm not sure whether it's halfway or not, but it's something that you should really consider and do it now, right? So if you find value in my video, I hope you are able to subscribe. Remember to subscribe, to like, and to share this video so that it really helps my small little channel in the YouTube algorithm so that it gets out to people who really needs videos, and that it will encourage us, even all the small channel content producer out there. Just showing you how I film my video. This is just my little simple setup with my tripod and then my script and my camera, and I do have a laptop. I brought my laptop here just in case I need to record something, and it's really just a really small setup. You see my kids having all their toys all around their area, and this is where I actually press record. Alright, I'll see you in my next video.